So Microsoft surprised this Game Awards when they announced the official name of their next-gen Xbox, which is codenamed Scarlet, and the name is Xbox Series X. By all means, it is a big powerhouse that delivers a next-gen step into graphic fidelity. It can do 120 frames per second and ray tracing with a solid-state drive. All of this is compact inside a trash can design, which is done beautifully from Microsoft. But let's go back again, one step back. Well, there was something wrong with the Microsoft new console. Well, if you can tell, it is the name is very bad in my point of view here. The Xbox Series X. What does this mean? Well, if we recall back all the Xbox generation from Xbox, Xbox 360, Xbox One, and now we have Xbox Series. So the moment that you say Xbox Series X, you'll just come to your mind that it is a new refreshment to the Xbox One X. And it is not a major leap in terms of performance. And definitely Microsoft will release another series as well, and it might be called Series S and make more confusion into the namings. So you have Xbox Series X, Xbox Series S. Couple this with the fact that the new generation will be backward compatible with the old generation, the Xbox One X and the Xbox One S. So this will be a very good recipe into disaster and confusion. And we have a very good example. Well, Nintendo Wii was a very successful console, but when Wii U hit the market, it was a disaster for Nintendo. It didn't sell that much, and even Switch was able to outsold Wii U in 1 year. Although Wii U was a great console to begin with, it has the good games of Mario, The Legend of Zelda, and Mario Party, Mario Kart. Add to that the backward compatibility with Wii U and the GameCube. So on paper, everything was perfect for Wii U. It was the golden age of Nintendo. Wii U was able to use the Wiimote and the GameCube controller, which I think was the biggest console that have the biggest backward compatibility at that time. Although such a rich feature console, it failed miserably to Nintendo. And why is that? Because people mistook the Wii U with the Wii. Nintendo didn't really define what is Wii U. Consumers thought that it is just an expansion to the Wii, or a refreshment, although Nintendo treated the Wii U as a next gen at that time. But with all Nintendo effort, Wii U was a failure. And of course Nintendo did a 180-degree shift into their focus, and they focus on a dedicated hybrid gaming system, which is Switch. And the naming is clearly say that it is Switch. You can switch it from handheld to a console. So you switch. And this is what gave Nintendo the upper hand into their new system, Switch. And same thing goes for Sony. PlayStation 1 and 2, 3 and 4. Sony held a consistent name across all generations. So people will definitely know the higher the number, the better the quality or the graphics. Or this is the next gen console that Sony designed. And of course, with every iteration from Sony, they release a slim version of their existing console. So PlayStation 1 Slim, PlayStation 2 Slim, PlayStation 3 Slim, and 4 Slim. Everybody knew that whenever Sony include a Slim into their naming, they will immediately know that this is a regular performance PlayStation, but it is a smaller in size and more efficient. And you can say Sony used Pro for the PlayStation 4 Pro. Yes, but Pro is known as it is a much better version. Well, there's another company that uses Pro so much, and it is called Apple. Well, you can see there's an iPad and there's an iPad Pro. There's iPhone 11 and iPhone 11 Pro. MacBook, MacBook Pro. iMac, iMac Pro. So what Apple means with the Pro is that this device is oriented for Pro consumers with a high performance compared to the non-Pro version. And the same thing goes for the PlayStation 4. The Pro is high performance console compared to the Slim or the Fat one. And let's take Xbox One S. Microsoft's deciding that S is the lower or the inferior version. Well, but you can say S is used in almost all iPhones at this time, except for the newer iPhone, of course. So what Apple did with the S naming is that they release an iPhone, like for example iPhone 4. The next year they release the same device, but it is more enhanced, which is called iPhone 4S. Same thing goes for iPhone 5, 6 with iPhone 5S, 6S. So the S mean in the iPhone is that it is a better version than the previous year, but with the same design. But in Microsoft case with Xbox One S, you don't know what does it mean. Well, we can say another company uses S as well. Samsung Galaxy S series. Well, they left this letter S for their highest flagship phone. But let's look how Microsoft used the letter S into their naming. Well, Windows 10 uses another version called Windows 10S, but S in this case refers to security, according to Microsoft, because this version of Windows 10 does not run application downloaded from the web. You have to refer back to the Windows Store in order to install any application you have. But does user use the Windows 10S? Probably not. They didn't know what S mean in this version of Windows 10. And there's a lot of examples that we can say about naming and how names supposed to be catchy, like Switch, or can be shortened from PlayStation to PS. The only time I think Microsoft did the Xbox naming correct was Xbox 360. Because what does Microsoft did with the 360 is that they turn around how people communicate and play online together. They introduced the in-game voice chat and a lot of features that wasn't present at that time. And they were the first. And that's what made Xbox 360 the best Xbox that ever made. And even if we go back to Microsoft history about naming, for example, in order to compete with the iPod, they released Zone, an MP3 player that competes with the iPod. Well, nobody knew about it, nobody understood about it, it died. Same thing can be said about their phone division as well. With Nokia, they released phones called Lumia. Well, not everybody knew what those phones are, so you can say by now, did you see any Lumia phone anymore? Probably not. Well, Microsoft's solution in this case is to remove the Xbox word and leave Series X, just exactly like Tesla cars. They call it Model S, Model X, and Model 3. Although it does not mean anything, it is easier to remember, and it is pleasant to say. So Microsoft definitely should go for Tesla approach into naming, if they are willing to say some nonsense word into the naming. And yes, probably Microsoft will never fail or something like this, or will go bankruptcy, or even the Xbox division will be closed. No, what I'm saying is that consumers will never be able to distinguish the current gen Xbox One X with the next Xbox Series X. So people will opt not to buy the Xbox Series X if it was very expensive. So they will go for the Xbox One X. And the effect of the lack of consumer interest into the new console will affect the developers, because developers will never be able to utilize the high frame rate, the low latency input, the ray tracing, and the solid state drive from the next gen console. Well, consumer confusion can happen anytime, and it is even from the slightest misunderstood or misrepresentation, because they take everything literally, and the naming is not helping. And when Microsoft released or revealed the Xbox Series X, they revealed it vertically. Later that day, people will start asking, can we put it horizontally or laid down? It was necessary for Microsoft to confirm to the consumer and the media that this console can be held vertically or horizontally, although it wasn't really necessary. But because Microsoft really misrepresented or misshowed their next console. But anyway, hardware is something. Now we are focusing on the games only. And hopefully Microsoft delivers on this department. Anyway guys, thank you for watching.